This has not been the road trip the Mets were hoping for when they left New York with a head of steam, but they've had some gorgeous weather here in South Florida, and today they close out their series in downtown Miami as they take on the Marlins. At Marlins Park in Miami, Florida, the New York Mets play the Miami Marlins. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Miami. I'm Gary Cohen. Keith Hernandez joins me in just a moment. As the Mets close out this rain-shortened 8-game road trip, they've gone 2-5 so far and dropped the first 2 games of the series here in Miami. Here are some of the scenes of the road trip that was. It began at Citizens Bank Park on a cold, windy, rainy night, and John Neese could not have been better as he outpitched Cole Hamels in the poor conditions, and the Mets won the only game they wound up playing in Philadelphia. Then they went to Colorado to face the red-hot Rockies, and they couldn't get Troy Tulowitzki out. Nobody has all year at Coors Field, and Tulowitzki wound up with plenty of help as well. Nolan Arenado showed off his Gold Glove at third base and made everybody realize why he won that Gold Glove as a rookie last year. But not only did Arenado contribute with the glove, he contributed with the bat. Rockies came from 6 runs down. Arenado hit a grand slam. The Rockies took the first 3 games of that series. The Mets bounced back on the final day on Sunday as Dylan G mowed down the Rockies to get the Mets the only win of that series. Neese went back to the mound in the opener of this series on Monday and pitched another gem. 7 scoreless innings, but the Met bullpen couldn't hold it, and the Marlins rallied for a 4-3 walk-off win. And then last night, the Mets had no answer for Henderson Alvarez. The 24-year-old right-hander pitched his 3rd shutout in his last 8 starts, going back to his no-hitter last year. And the Marlins have now taken the first 2 of this series and go for the sweep here today. When we come back, Keith Hernandez will have his impressions of this road trip from top to bottom. It's the Mets and the Marlins. Roof closed on a hot afternoon in Miami. Come on back. Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Geico. And by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on their most exciting lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. Back here in Miami, as we were saying, the Mets are 2-5 on this road trip. Won the opener in Philadelphia. They've lost 5 of 6 since.
Well, you know, my opinion of the road trip, it's 2-5, and it could be 4-3. And they've lost 2 heartbreakers. The bullpen has been very erratic, to say the least. They have their good days and their bad. They lost 2 tough ones that really were swing games. The starting pitching has been what has made this ball club where they're at right now. What's the big concern for me, Gary, is the offense. They haven't been clicking, and they had the 4 games in Colorado, and you can kind of like look at that askance because it's a hitter's park. And they really, the Mets, after that only that one game where they scored 10 runs, they didn't score a whole lot of runs in the other games. So the offense is not clicking. And what I see from the offense now, and we are 5 weeks into the season, so that's a good barometer of this ball club. Now, we played a significant amount of games, or they have. It's not me. Is there anybody in this lineup that can carry this ball club? I think it's a very good question.
Well, the Mets will have Zach Wheeler going on the mound today. Wheeler had maybe his best start of the season, 2 starts back against Miami.
Well, Zach needs to get his curveball over. When he gets his curveball over, he's lights out. His ERA is over 5. He's given up more hits than innings pitched. That's a concern. But if he gets that curve over with that blazing fastball, he will be successful.
So is Wheeler and the Mets trying to salvage the final game of the road trip before they head on home to New York. Mets and Marlins. First pitch coming up from Miami. Friday, when the Mets take on the Phillies at 7:10, all fans in attendance will receive a Curtis Granderson T-shirt, courtesy of Las Vegas Tourism. For tickets, visit Mets.com/free shirt Fridays. Geico Mets starting lineup for this afternoon, and it's the usual group except for Anthony Recker, who gets the start. Day game after a night game. Mets are 6-1 when Recker starts this year. Only loss came in his last start in Colorado. as the Mets face the New Rochelle native Tom Koehler.
Well, Koehler had the start in New York. It was his worst start of the season. He's been lights out, and particularly at home. He is 3-0 at home with an ERA of .93, and that's over 3 starts. That's lights out.
Juan Lagares will lead things off. Lagares, Murphy, and Wright. Mets have scored just 3 runs in 2 games here in Miami after being shut out by Henderson Alvarez last night. And Koehler gets the afternoon started with a fastball for a strike, and we're underway. Lagares 1 for 4 in the series, had a double last night, hitting at .333 for the year, and at .507 he has the highest slugging percentage on the ball club. And a fly ball hit out to right. In comes Stanton. And he says he'll take it himself, and he does in foul ground, and that's the first out of the day.
And we'll take a look at the Marlin defense, and Coors Light always brings that to you folks at home sitting on your couch if you're not working. It's a Yelich out and left. Osuna, I really like. I think he's got a chance to be a very, very top-notch hitter. Hechavarria, I just love that sound of that word. He's played a terrific shortstop. And Jeff Mathis gets the call behind the plate today he'll be calling the balls and strikes for Koehler.
You do a wonderful job rolling your R's.
Yes, I learned that from my 2 years of Spanish in high school, so I can get to university.
And what good did that do?
It didn't do me any good. I signed at 18.
Murphy has 2 doubles and a home run in this series. Had the 2 doubles last night. And he takes low and away from Koehler. And Murph going up there ready to take a couple of pitches. Did not look like he was interested in offering in either of those. Murph usually very aggressive, especially early in the game. And Koehler misses outside with a fastball, 2-1.
Well, career Koehler against the Mets has had 8 games, 5 starts, so they've seen him.
Well, Murph's had 13 at bats against him, 5 for 13 with a home run. Now, Koehler was a guy who was really struggling early in his career, and last September things kicked in gear for him. Before last September 15th, he was 3-11 with a 4.86 ERA. Since then, he's 5-2 with a 2.22 ERA. That's over 9 starts going back to last year. So something has clicked for Mr. Koehler. And he misses outside with a changeup, 3-2.
It's a fastball, curveball predominantly. Has a cutter and a change, but his big pitches are the fastball that he moves around, gets a little sink, and a curve.
3-2 coming to Murphy, and he pops it up in foul ground. Over for a look, but that'll be behind the dugout.
So Koehler last year was 5-10 in 29 games, 23 starts. He's a 12-game winner. Actually, my minor league numbers are outstanding. He was shoot Double-A at Jacksonville. He was 16-2 in 2010, 12-7, and 12-11 the next 2 years in Triple-A.
Murphy cracks it deep right field, right down the line. Gone if it stays fair, but it goes foul. Well, Murphy, who hit one on the second deck here on Monday night, hit that one even further, but not straight enough.
Well, let's see if he goes back inside and doubles up. Murph just crushed that one. Looks like a little sinker away, of course.
Now Murphy cracks this one, but right at the center fielder Ozuna, and that's the second out. That was a pretty good turn at bat for Daniel Murphy, but it results in the second out.
This is a ballpark, folks, that is very big. I think it's the biggest park in the National League. You hit fly balls here, balls in the air, it's Death Valley. 418 to center field, just to the right of the sculpture, the home run sculpture.
And that high wall to boot.
And that swoosh around the side there. Right there. There it is.
Here's David Wright with 2 out and nobody on. David's 3 for 8 in this series. And takes a fastball low and in.
David hasn't caught fire yet. He's getting his hits. That's a sign of the hitter that he is. But hasn't gotten into a real red hot streak yet 5 weeks into the season.
Well, he's got 37 hits, but only 7 of the 37 have been for extra bases. So he's picking up a hit here and there, but not delivering the punch that you expect. Punches that one to right center. Over comes Stanton. He can't get it. It goes up the gap. And Wright will get an extra base hit out of this one. A 2-out double for David Wright. Well, you love to see him hitting line drives to right center.
Well, watch the level swing. That ball's down the middle. He was set on going to right field, opposite field, and not the big uppercut we've been seeing. Look at the top hand come over. That's what I like to see Dave do. I mean, David's hasn't hit 30 home runs in quite some time. Just give the Mets 40 doubles. 40 plus doubles, 100 RBIs. You have 15 to 20 home runs, great.
That's his 7th double of the year. Now Curtis Granderson, who had a 6-game hitting streak, stopped last night. Granderson 2 for 8 in the series, including a home run on Monday. And he takes the curveball from Kohler for ball 1.
You see the curveball from Kohler right there. Looks pretty good. You got to throw it for a strike, though.
Kohler now 27 years old, born in the Bronx but grew up in New Rochelle.
Well, they say that the outing he had in New York at City earlier in the year, he had a whole family there, and his wife was there, and a whole 9 yards, and they think that might have discombobulated him.
Well, it's the only start all year he's given up more than 2 runs. Allowed 4 runs in 5 innings against the Mets, and another curveball misses 3-0. And he bounced back his next start against the Dodgers Friday night through 7 scoreless innings. A gem.
Left-hand hitters hitting 186 against him. Right-hand hitters 206. That's awesome. And that's combined. If you take away the splits, just what they're hitting against this young man, it's under 200, and that's through 6 starts. You got to love that.
Certainly was an unheralded member of the Marlins rotation coming into the season, but he has been terrific. 3-1 coming to Granderson, and a breaking ball fouled off. Full count to Curtis. I mean, you look at the Marlins rotation with Jose Fernandez at the top and Henderson Alvarez with what he showed last night. Today's got his hat tipped back, just enjoying the day. 3-2. And Granderson went around in the half swing, and Kohler has the strikeout to end the inning. Came back from 3-0 to strike out Granderson. A double and 1 left. Zach Wheeler goes to the mound to face the Marlins when we come back. This afternoon, only change. Jeff Mathis gets the start behind the plate day game after a night game. Marlins are 16-5 at home. They're in the midst of a 7-1 homestand that ends today. And Zach Wheeler will try and cool them off this afternoon.
15-5 the Marlins are at home now, and there's Zach Wheeler. You see the numbers. I'm a little concerned about the base hits. You know, the 13 walks are great. You want to cut down on walks, but are you doing it by putting the ball in play and getting behind the counts? He needs to stay in front. He needs to get the breaking ball over.
Christian Yelich leads things off, 2 for 8 in this series. Just 2 for 19 against the Mets this year. Yelich, the 22-year-old left fielder, having a good start to his first full year in the big leagues, and takes the fastball from Wheeler for a strike. Well, Zach was in complete command against the Marlins 12 days ago at Citi Field. Struck out 10 in 6 innings. Gave up just 1 run and 4 hits.
Oh, there you go.
And he moves Yelich back. We saw Wheeler throw a couple of purpose pitches in his start at Colorado when he was getting beat up last time out.
Yes, and he did, and it was got a glare from, I think it was Barnes, wasn't it? And
Brandon Barnes, yeah.
Get back in the box. Anyway, I like that. He was getting rocked a little bit, and, you know, he didn't hit anybody. He just pushed him off.
Throws that one by Yelich, 1-2. Well, Zach got off to a really bad start in that game. Gave up 4 runs in the first inning, 2 more in the second inning. Then he steadied, gave the Mets 3 more innings to save some of the bullpen, but nonetheless, it was not a fun day for Wheeler in Colorado. Trying to find his form again this afternoon under the roof in Miami. And the curveball bounces 2-2 to Yelich.
Well, that's where it's all at with Zach. Gets the curveball over with the blistering fastball. He's going to be awful tough. If he gets behind, not getting the curve over, have to come in with the fastball, it's going to make it tough on him. It's baseball 101 anyway, isn't it?
Right near the bag, easy play for Duda. Well, you have to have the prerequisites before you can move on to the more advanced courses.
Okay, we'll take a look at your New York Metropolitan defense, and this is always brought to you by Lexus. They're very kind to promote this defense. Granderson and Wright. I mean, we talked, Gary and I, about the arms in the outfield. The corner outfielders are not the great arms. And this has been pretty much our defense on the infield. And Recker, of course, he lost his first game his last time out. Was 6-0 prior to that, and he's done a terrific job thus far this year.
Here's Derek Dietrich, the second baseman, and he takes a strike. Dietrich has started a little over half the games for the Marlins this year. It was supposed to be Rafael Furcal playing second base for Miami this year. They signed him as a free agent after the veteran Furcal missed all of last year with Tommy John surgery, but Furcal's had one leg injury after another and has yet to come close to playing a game for Miami. So Dietrich has held down the spot, and he's handled himself well at the plate. 380 on base percentage for Dietrich. What has been a problem for him, though, has been his defense. He got hit on a bad hop grounder right in the nose in spring training, and they think he's been a little gun shy defensively ever since. Pulls one toward the hole, and he sneaks it through for a base hit. So Dietrich with a 1-out single. And the Marlins have their first base runner.
Well, this has been a nemesis of Wheeler, the left-hand hitters. That's too much plate right there. They wanted the ball away. Dietrich is not a power hitter. He's a table setter. A little out in front towards the end of the bat. The lefties so far this year are coming into the game are hitting .362 against Wheeler.
Well, he sets the table for a very hungry bear.
Well, it's like the Queen's champion at the joust.
Stanton leading the world in home runs and RBIs. 10 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Both marks lead the National League. 3 for 6 in this series. A double, couple of RBIs. It went off the center field fence in last night's game. First time up against Bartolo Colon that nearly left the park. Batting here with a runner at first and 1 out. And Stanton, it's a double play ball to Tejada. Murphy with the turn, an awkward throw, but Duda scoops it out, and the Mets get through the inning. Murphy anticipating the takeout slide with a very difficult throw, but got it there and got it there on a bounce where Duda could handle it. Dietrich coming in hard. 6-4-3 double play nonetheless. Phillies at 7:10. The first 20,000 fans will receive a 1969 commemorative Nolan Ryan bobblehead, courtesy of Delta Airlines. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Chris Young leads off for the Mets in the second against Tom Kohler and drives one to left center field. Back in the gap goes Yelich, deep to the warning track at the wall. He makes the catch. Christian Yelich, who can really go back, went a long way to catch that drive from Chris Young.
Well, I tell you what, most ballparks, I think all ballparks, that's 386 in the gap out there. And Yelich was more towards center field. He ran a long way for that ball. Nice play. But any other ballpark in the league, that's a home run.
So one pitch and one long out to start the second inning. Now Lucas Duda, who's 1 for 6 in this series. And he takes a fastball from Kohler for a strike. Duda, who leads the Mets in home runs with 4, one more than Granderson. The Mets have hit 20 home runs, which is tied for second to last in the National League.
Good pitch.
Oh, 2 from Kohler, and Duda fouls back the fastball. Anthony Recker, the on-deck batter. Well, we've talked a lot during this series about the size of this ballpark and how successful the Marlins have been in attacking this ballpark this year, as Duda grounds one to the right side and Dietrich makes the play for the second out. So if you're coming into a ballpark like this, or this is your home ballpark, and Citi Field's not all that different, how do you best counsel your hitters as to how to approach hitting in this ballpark?
Well, you look at the lineup of the only real power hitter. There's 2 power hitters in this lineup, and that's Stanton and Garrett Jones. And you're not. And I agree with our late Ralph Kiner. You can't change a swing. The guys got here with their swing. So what you can do is not hold your hands higher, move up in the box, get closer to the plate. It's in BP. Concentrate on the top half of the ball, getting on top, hitting line drives. really make that your focus.
Record pops one up, hitting the bottom half of the ball. And Dietrich makes the play to end the inning.
I can expound when we come back.
You will. 1, 2, 3 go the Mets in the top of the second. No score in Miami. Superb aerial views of downtown Miami during this series.
That's Biscayne Bay on the left, downtown Miami. That stadium right there is where the on the right of your screen, where that helicopter just went by, is where the Miami Heat play, and they played last night and beat up on Brooklyn. It's really a beautiful area, beautiful downtown. It's been beautiful weather here. Gary got a little suntan.
Had to get out in the sun a little bit. Casey McGee leads off the home second and takes a strike from Zach Wheeler. McGee has been front and center in this series, 4 for 9 with 3 RBIs. He has been an RBI machine. He's hitting .441 with runners in scoring position and had the game-winning hit here on Monday night. Couple of RBI hits against Bartolo Colon last night.
And he has made what I just stated last time. He has eschewed the home run and is hitting the top half of the baseball. And he's getting it done with line drives.
So mechanically, how do you accomplish that? Because McGee's a guy who, used to be more of a power hitter and hit 28 home runs in Japan last year. So if you're going to approach, eschewing the home run, as you say, how do you go about doing that?
You go up the middle more. You don't try to pull, and because most guys may try to pull, they want to hit home runs and they start swinging up and getting bad habits. Now the power hitters can do it, but if you go up the middle, and you notice McGee has been using the whole field this series, the first 2 games of this series, he's been hitting basically gap to gap, and you just really focus, Gary, on BP. See on that level swing right there, he gets in the piece of it to stay in the at bat. This is a pitch that you've kind of got to swing up, and you're going to swing under it. Look at the level swing, how he just swung horizontal as follow through to the ground, and that is outstanding, and that's why he's hitting. And you do it in BP. That's where your bad habits start, in batting practice. I always took my batting practice very seriously. I never went in there and fooled around. Now, on an interesting note, the power hitters. I had a conversation with Willie Stargell once. Now, there's a guy hit 40 home runs, Hall of Famer, hit a lot of home runs in his career, over 400. Stargell said we had, around 5-6 rounds of BP each group.
Wright handles the grounder and throws out McGee. 1 out.
Stargell hit 300 in his career too, and he was a terrific hitter. He can beat you with a base hit late in the game where a base hit was required. He said he started out like I did. He would work the first couple rounds to left center field, a left-hand hitter, and he would bring it slowly around to right field with each round. Then he said the last 2 rounds when you went in there and you had 3 swings, that's when he said, okay, late in the game, we're down 3 runs. I need to hit a 3-run home run. And that what he would do is home run swing and try to hit home runs. That says it all right there.
Now, for guys who are not home run hitters, and, you know, I'm looking up and down the Mets lineup and thinking about, you know, what the track records are for these guys. I mean, David's a guy who's hit 30. Chris Young's a guy who's hit 30. Curtis Granderson's a guy who's hit 40. Now, line to center by Garrett Jones, but right at Lagares, doesn't have to move an inch for the second out. Do you consider those guys home run hitters who should be thinking home run at any point, or do you consider them line drive hitters who should be thinking hitting line drive?
Well, you could throw Duda in that mix too. Duda could hit some home run. You know, he hasn't been around long enough, but you got to say that Duda's, you know, you want home runs from Duda.
Right.
You want
20. He hasn't hit 20 yet in the big league.
Right.
So.
I would put Wright and Granderson, I would put in the same category as Stargell with their BP practice and try to hit home runs the last couple rounds. Chris Young, I think that it's been a long time since he hit those 27 home runs, and I would want him to hit line drives in BP because he's trying to come back to his old form. So take baby steps. Don't get carried away. Hit line drives.
Now, you're talking about approach in BP, but how does that carry over into a game?
Your practice habits carry over into a game, Gare. If you go out there and mess around and swing up in batting practice, you're going to swing up in the game. If you're focusing on line drives and you get those good habits, and these guys hit till the cows come home. I mean, you know, we were in there with Terry the other day in the clubhouse the first 2 days, and Terry's office at the ballpark here is right next to the batting cage. And all I hear is a crack of the bat. They're in there. These guys, they hit too much. Lots of swings. Make them all purposeful. It's very serious business when you come to the office.
Two and two to Marcell Ozuna, batting with 2 out and nobody on. Ozuna 1 for 5 in the series. Wheeler's 2-2, and he got him with a slider. Nice job by Wheeler. His first strikeout as he sets the Marlins down 1-2-3 in the second. On to go to the third, no score. At bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet, even works on the beach. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Mets.com today. Third inning, no score. Ruben Tejada leads off. Ruben 0 for his last 13 has seen his average shrink to 188.
Well, if we're going to continue on the same vein of conversation, if I'm a hitting coach for the New York Mets and Tejada hits a fly ball in BP, it's a fine. I'd get on him. But I'd make some kind of fun thing out. Make it a nickel, a quarter, or whatever. Buy me a cup of coffee. Ruben should.
Oh, what a play by the ball boy.
Oh, gee.
Flipping over the sidewall. Wow. That was outstanding. Look at this.
Oh, beautiful.
That's the play of the year.
And didn't lose the helmet.
Saved the guy behind him from getting smoked.
What a play.
He gets a raise.
He's happy.
Well, he'll make every highlight film in the country tonight.
Got that Wazoo hat on.
I think you meant Gazoo.
I'll get it right.
The 1-2, and Tejada takes it off the plate. That was show-stopping.
Oh, did we tell the folks the roof is on today? Did we tell them that?
We've mentioned it.
Close, excuse me. It's more. It is a day game today. I got up at 6 in the morning. I went to bed a decent hour. I was able to escape Bill Webb last night. I kind of hid in the corner and I got out early.
Now, all Bill Webb wanted to do last night was to celebrate.
Yes.
Because our esteemed director just won 2 more Emmys last night.
Yes,
at the
he did.
National Sports Emmys. As Tejada lifts one to left, and Yelich will come on to get it. One out, which means that Bill Webb now has 42 Emmys in his illustrious directorial career.
And we did have a toast for Bill and after the game at the hotel. But I got to bed around midnight, and I woke up at 6. And then I did a little work, went back to bed.
You went back to bed this morning?
Yeah. And woke up at 10, so I got here a little late. I'm naughty. Don't tell Kurt.
You're here. You're on television. You're doing your job. Your arrival time is irrelevant.
Kurt will make me write on the blackboard 100 times.
I shall not arrive late to work.
Oh, boy.
Wheeler 0 for 8 this year. It's one to the right side for Dietrich to handle. Met pitchers are now 0 for 57 to start the year, extending their modern major league record.
Someone's gonna break it sooner or later. Someone's gonna get him off the snide.
Somebody asked Terry Collins about the offer, the historic offer for his pitchers, and his immediate response was, well, they're not very good hitters. And then he backtracked a little. He said, well, but Neese can handle the bat, and G's pretty good, and Wheeler's got a chance, which of course leaves Colon and Mejia, who really have very little chance.
Watch it be one of those two that do it.
Well, maybe it will be. I mean, all it takes is a little contact. Sometimes strange things happen when the ball leaves the bat. 2-0 to Lagares. I mean, it's a quirky thing. You don't expect a lot of offense from your pitchers, but
no.
You would figure through 57 at-bats, at some point, something would fall in somewhere.
You know what I want from pitchers offensively?
Bunts.
Bunts. Put the ball down and get the runner over.
Echeverria throws out Lagares. Mets are out 1-2-3. 7 in a row retired by Tom Kohler. But the play of the year, well, that belongs to the Marlins ball boy. Looks like Nolan Arenado.
I don't know, what are we, over 60 right now for pitchers?
59.
Oh, well, thank you. My numbers, what my break today? I've resorted to going back and just hey, guys, try not to get a hit.
I mean, what else can you do if you're the pitching coach but laugh about your pitcher's lack of prowess at the plate?
By the way, Met fans out there, our pitching coach, your pitching coach, Dan Wortham, he's a little goofy. He's a quirky guy.
He's got a great sense of humor. He's a left-hand.
Yes, and yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that.
All you lefties. Something a little different about you. And Danny Echeverria takes a fastball for a strike. Echeverria, 1 for 7 in the series, but hitting .289 for the year. Lower third of the order up against Zach Wheeler in the home third. And a chance for Tejada. Throws out his opposite number. 1 away. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce. The hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap, available in original flavor, chili lime, chili garlic, and chipotle. By Mazda, conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. And by State Farm. Today's State Farm agent of the day is Hector Camillo of the Bronx. Contact Hector's office at hectorcamillo.com. Now Jeff Mathis makes his first plate appearance of the series. Jared Saltalamacchia caught the first 2 games. Mathis making his 7th start. He's only had 16 at-bats this year in his second year with the Marlins. Ball and a strike to Mathis with the pitcher Kohler on deck.
Well, so far Wheeler has been on the corners, spotting his fastball nicely. Good pitch.
He has been commanding early in this game, which is something that he failed to do in his last start in Colorado. A certain look of earnestness around Zach in this start. Ready to hop back on the beam. 2-2 now to Mathis. Really, if you throw out the first three games of the series in Colorado, Mets starting pitching has been just about blameless this season. I mean, those first 3 games, Colon, Wheeler, Mejia. Good breaking ball strikes out Mathis for the second out. I mean, they all just had a dreadful day in Colorado, but every other game this season, Mets starting pitchers have allowed the Mets to be competitive. I guess the only other real clunker was the one Colon threw in Anaheim. But here we are, a fifth of the way through the season, and the starting pitching is easily the strongest piece of this ball club.
No question. And there's more down on the farm.
A lot more. Kohler grounds one to the right side. Easy play for Murphy. And a 1-2-3 inning for Zach Wheeler. He's retired 7 in a row. 3 in the books now in Miami. No score. Question. What they pull out of the bag today? In their history, which Marlins player has appeared in the most All-Star games as a Marlin? Right?
They've had so much turnover here. It's a tough one. Look at that glassy water. You can water ski on that.
Are you a good water skier?
I can get up. I'm not great, but I can do it. But my back, I'm just worried I'm going to blow my back out. I can't do it anymore. I can't. A lot of things I can't do anymore because of my back. It just drives me nuts.
Sorry.
It's all right. I had fun the first half of my life.
It was kind of what you call a trade-in. I bet you did. Here's Daniel Murphy leading off in the fourth. Murph flying to center his first time up and takes a curveball from Kohler for a strike. David Wright on deck, then Curtis Granderson. We were talking earlier about hitters and approach and playing in a big ballpark and power hitters versus line drive hitters and how to maximize your offense as Dietrich throws out Murphy for the first out. Here's the thing. You're talking about hitters practicing hitting line drives and power hitters trying to hit line drives and presumably home runs will come from that.
Right.
But when players who are after all are human beings and fairly young ones at that listen to people around them, they hear home run, home run, home run. It's a mantra. It's very, obviously the home run's a big part of the game. Statistics show that if you hit more home runs than the opposition, you're more likely to win the game. So how, as a hitter, do you avoid the temptation and the drumbeat in your head to try to hit home runs?
And the drumbeat coming from what management wants?
Well, no, from agents, from
sure,
from the public, from statistically inclined people, maybe from management, whatever it is. There's certainly plenty of people telling players you have to hit home runs to be successful. Back goes Jones over the shoulder, and a nice grab.
Very
well played by Garrett Jones for the second out.
Not an easy play. He looks and sees where the wall is, and you're like catching a long bomb. Very nice. Just he has to worry about the fence here, not the fence, the railing, the barrier there. So that was not an easy play for Jones right there. Nice.
Granderson pulls one, and Dietrich with a nice stop throws him out. So the Marlins playing some fine defense behind Kohler in that fourth inning. First Jones and then Dietrich taking a base hit away from Granderson. 10 in a row retired by Kohler. Still no score in Miami. At bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Mets.com today. Christian Yelich, second time around the batting order, leads off against Zach Wheeler in the home fourth. Wheeler faced the minimum the first 3 innings, gave a base hit to Dietrich, but the Mets erased him on a double play. Yelich grounded out to first his first trip, and he fouls one away. So we were talking last half inning about how, as a hitter, you stay disciplined to be a line drive hitter when you hear everybody around you saying you should hit more home runs.
Okay, I heard the same thing from Lenny Dykstra. Lenny was always saying, you know, I'm never going to make any money. Lenny was always into making money. And Lenny said, I'm not going to make any money leading off. I got to get stronger. I got to hit home runs. And I just said, Lenny, you're a leadoff hitter. You hit 300, you have an on-base percentage of 400, which you can't because you got a good eye and you walk, and you score 100 runs, and you steal 25 bases, guess what? You're going to be making top dollar. There's value to a leadoff hitter. I mean, there's how many Bobby Bonds are there and Ricky Hendersons that are leadoff hitters with power? It's not very many over the course of history of baseball. So, also, look at the ballpark you're playing in, and that's critical. I mean, I'll just go back to Whitey Herzog, what he did with the Cardinal team. And I'll note one of the top teams statistically, particularly in sabermetrics, is the 85 Cardinals. And the only power hitter they had on that team was Jack Clark.
Right.
Everybody else could run and hit line drives and a lot of doubles and triples. And they lost the World Series. They didn't win it. They lost it, but they got there. So you got to take into consideration where you're playing your 81 games, your home games. And if you're at this ballpark here, you want to go out and bring a bunch of power hitters here, be my guest. It's not going to work. You need guys that play defense, pitching, defense, speed, and guys that can hit line drives. And you got one bopper, legitimate bopper. You got a legitimate, which what Stanton is, what Jack Clark was to the 85 Cardinals.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, there are home run hitters, and then there are elite home run hitters as Yelich goes down swinging. And I guess that's part of the difference, right? Because, again, we're talking, when you look, as we said before about the Met lineup, you've got a guy who's hit 40. You got a couple of guys who've hit 30. You got a guy who might hit 30 one of these days. You hope he will. But are they the Stanton-level elite home run hitters, or are they next level? And does that make a difference in terms of the way you approach things?
I think they're next level. And if you look at Citi Field, I mean, Stanton's in a class by himself, please. I mean, it's just no one can touch him. Not a ballpark that can hold him.
Here's Dietrich, who has the only hit for the Marlins, and he takes outside.
Well, you got A-Rod, of course, McGuire, and it's all suspect. Stargell, legit. Mike Schmidt, legit. Keller, Snyder, short right field porch for Duke, but the Hall of Famer. Teddy Williams hitting crossways against the Fenway, against the rule. Deadpool hitter at Fenway.
How about Jimmy Fox?
Jimmy
more than
Fox.
400 home runs in the 30s.
He was incredible.
What was he, about 5'8"?
He was a little chunk. That's what he was. Yeah. So I know the game has changed. I know that hitting and running is a lost art. I think it's to the detriment of the game, the excitement of the game, that the guys don't know how to hit and run today. And really, they don't know how to hit and run because no one teaches them how to hit and run, because no one wants anybody to hit and run anymore. Like you said, they all this 3-run home run thing. That's what, when I came up, it was like the National League was the first league to integrate with African American players and brought speed into the game and great players. The American League lagged behind, and that's why the National League just cleaned their clock on the All-Star games over the years. So that's something to be said about speed, as opposed to having a bunch waiting for base by. We used to say American League was base to base, wait for the 3-run home run.
That was the Earl Weaver mantra, and he had great success with that with the Orioles. You know, pitching, defense, and 3-run homers. That was his thing.
And the American League had the older parks and the smaller bandboxes, and the National League had the newer parks that were bigger parks, more fair, more AstroTurf. Now, to me, there's no AstroTurf today except in Toronto. The way they cut these infields, I have not seen a slow infield or an outfield. This is like playing on turf, just about. I mean, that's how fast these ballparks are and how well manicured. They're like putting greens out here, folks. Very quick. I would have loved it. So Kind of lost my train of thought here, Garrett. Help me out. So.
Well, I guess the question at the end of the day is for an individual player who's trying to help his team win, as Wheeler strikes out Dietrich, back-to-back strikeouts for Wheeler to start the fourth. How do you best optimize your offense? Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about how can you best help your team win. Is it by trying to hit home runs and thinking home runs and selling out to home runs, or is it to hit line drives and hope that the home runs come? And does it depend on the individual player, the individual park, and how are you mentally strong enough to do that when people are telling you to hit home runs when maybe that isn't the way you should be going?
They're telling you to hit home runs. Remember now, we went through a period where they were drafting out of college. When I was coming up, they wanted the kids out of high school. And that's coming back to it's coming full circle now. I think they're getting kids out of high school now, and I would prefer that as the college. College, they're using aluminum bats. Well, that is not a good judgment. You got hitting the ball further than you're supposed to.
But that's not as bad as it used to be now that they have the composite bats in college, and not really the aluminum bats.
Okay, good.
That was bad for a while, no question.
So pitchers were afraid to throw inside. They didn't know they could break a bat because aluminum bats don't break. That's a whole nother ball of wax right there. But it's tough if you're being told to hit home runs. If you're a minor leaguer, what are you going to do? You've got no clout. Well, if they tell you to come at 1 o'clock in the morning and hit, you better come at 1 o'clock in the morning and hit, or they're going to say, put a label on your back that you're lazy and you're not a hard worker. I've seen it. There's too much hitting going on during the course of a day. Too many swings.
2-2 to Stanton with 2 out and nobody on. And the curveball down, 3-2.
I've always felt when I was in a hot streak, there's the old saying, and you don't want to waste them in the cage or in BP on the field. You're red hot, just get loose, get your rounds in, do your work, get loose for the game, and go. I don't need extra batting practice when I'm red hot. I don't need to come in at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock and go out in the field and take 50 swings when I'm red hot? No way. You do it when you're in a slump. And I'd get labeled today as lazy, and I probably wouldn't have made it to the big leagues. And they would have gone around 2,200 hits. Thank you. Your Honor, I rest my case.
A lot of disappointed fans.
I'm just having fun, but I'm serious. I mean it. You couldn't get me out to take. There were some games, Gary, where I was feeling so good to play, I didn't take BP. It was very rare. I just didn't take BP. I just went to the game and go get them. I felt that good.
Wheeler issues his first walk as Stanton is aboard with 2 out. Well, Dick Allen went large chunks of his career without ever taking BP, and he was one of the most successful hitters of his generation. So here's Casey McGee with 2 out and a runner at first. I don't want to belabor this all day, but take an interesting case in point, and that's Lucas Duda. Because all that Lucas hears is that he's a guy who's going to hit home runs.
Right.
And yet when Lucas is at his best, he's driving the ball to left center, using the whole ballpark. So how does a guy like that filter out what he's hearing and do what he knows is best for himself and his team?
I don't know. I don't have that answer because you're going to listen to the people around you. Lucas is a good soldier. He comes to the park every day, does his work. He's a hard worker, and he wants to do what's best for the team. He's a listener. He absorbs. He takes orders, and that's the way it should be. The players are the privates, and the coaches are the non-commissioned officers, and Terry's the lieutenant, first lieutenant, head of the platoon. So a lot of times you hit home runs, Gary, with a line drive swing. You just get under it. So there you have it. By the way, Wheeler's throwing a pretty fine game.
Yes, he is. It has been a very determined afternoon for Wheeler. Did a nice job on Stanton, even though he walked him, kept the ball in on his hands. Now facing McGee with 2 out and Stanton at first. Stanton stole a base last night. You have to be wary of him. And McGee lines one into center field. So now the Marlins get a runner to second base for the first time today. Just the second hit against Wheeler. And Garrett Jones will come up with 2 men on.
Well, we've seen this before. Line drives up the middle. Stanton almost took Daisuke's head off the other night, and McGee has now 2 bullets up the middle.
It went off Gonzalez Hermen's shin for the game-winning hit Monday night. So now Jones, who had a bullet to center field his first time up that was caught. He had a very frustrating night last night against Bartolo Colon. 3 pop-ups before Valverde struck him out his last time up. So Jones 0 for 5 in this series. And the way Wheeler and Kohler are throwing, 1 run could be enormous this afternoon. Let's put on the shift against Jones. Two out and 2 on. No score in the 4th. And Wheeler runs 1 inside. He is not shy about working that inside part of the plate.
I like it. He's got to pitch in. There are certain constants in this game since the beginning of time. You got to pitch inside. You know, you can develop all these different pitches that have been developed over the hundreds of plus years of baseball, and still fastball in is critical.
Nice looking curve for a strike, 1-on-1. Well, unless, I mean, there are rare exceptions to everything, obviously, but you know, Tom Glavine threw outside 95% of the time.
Right. And he was a sinker ball pitcher and a left-hander.
Great changeup and tremendous control.
You can go Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux, key to his success was that cutter he threw inside. He had that Mariano Rivera cutter that kept all the left-hand hitters at bay. That's a fastball. Making them dance. You know what? It's good to be wild around the plate. Don't let those guys sit there and get comfortable.
Well, for all he's thrown inside, Wheeler hasn't hit a batter this year.
Let them put on their spats at old Fred Asparagus shoes. Do some dancing.
Fred Asparagus? Here's a 2-1. Curveball lifted to left center. Should be easy for Lagares. And that retires the side. So Wheeler, mild trouble in the 4th. He escapes it, no problem. Well, that young man is enjoying himself at the ballpark today. As we go to the 5th inning, Mets and Marlins no score. That is some slick dance move. Well, let's send it out beyond the home run sculpture out to Kevin Burkhardt. Kev?
I have no dance moves for you, Gary. I apologize for that. But I do have some information on Chris Young, who will lead it off for the Mets here, looking to get the offense going. And, you know, we've talked about it on the air. Certainly his offseason work with Rod Carew. He's had some really good at-bats this year. And, you know, quite frankly, it looks like a different player than the last few years. And I think part of it is his ability to go the other way just a little bit more than he had in the past. Last year, his base hits to right field, only 7% of his hits. This year, he's up over 13% of his hits that have gone the other way. Small difference, but actually quite big for a guy who's always been known as a pull guy. And I asked him about just that. So, you know, I think really a lot of it is mindset. You know, I can't tell you that I've done anything specific other than just to be a little bit more patient and to trust my hands. That was really a lot of what I took out with the conversations with Rod, is just to trust yourself, trust your hands, let the ball travel a little bit deeper, and you could still hit it. He said, have I gotten jammed a couple times, or maybe will I get punched out a couple of times inside? Maybe. But I'm willing to give that back for the chance to be patient, let it travel a little bit deeper, and go the other way. I just feel like the confidence is there. He said, you know what makes you do that? Well, when you strike out as much as as I had the ability to strike out, you want to change. And here at Echeverria, and he's thrown out. One away for Young. One thing he did point out, guys, he said, all you have to do is look at Bobby Abreu's at-bats. He never seems rattled. He never seems jumpy. He lets that ball travel so deep. That's what I'd like to get to. Gary?
It's a nice guy to emulate.
Well, Abreu has what you have. Abreu has today is a swing that's very natural. He uses his entire body, his legs. He's a rhythmic hitter. A lot of hitters today are more upper body, widespread in their stances, and don't use their lower body. Abreu's got a classic swing, beautiful swing.
Duda grounded out his first time up and gets fooled on the breaking ball and fouls it off. Well, the Mets have not scored since the fourth inning on Monday when Abreu hit a sacrifice fly. That's 18 straight innings without a run. We're not happy about that last at bat.
A little frustration. That's good to see. Remember, Paul O'Neill was one of the extremes. I had my moments.
You broke things?
No, I didn't break things, but I had my moments where I was exerted a little physical anger. It's good.
As long as you don't hurt yourself.
Right.
I mean, legends of players punching walls. That's a great catch.
Oh, my
God. That?
What's going on here?
He had all of his stuff in his other hand, and the right hand was enough. Might have hurt a little, but he made the grab. We've had a great defensive game in the stands today between the ball boy and that guy. Weak ground ball for Dietrich. And Kohler in complete command. He's retired 12 in a row.
Nice curveball he's got. Keeping the Mets out in front.
Number 20, catcher Anthony Recker.
So 2 out and nobody on for Anthony Recker, who popped up his first time up. Little roller down to Jones. Kohler gets over to cover. Kohler's retired 13 in a row. And the Mets are easy prey in the fifth. We're halfway through pitcher's duel. No score. Marlins Park is now was the Miami Orange Bowl, which was built back in the 30s and of course hosted the annual College Bowl game. Also was the home of the Dolphins and the University of Miami for years. And this is some of the scenes from the demolition of the Orange Bowl to make way for what would eventually be Marlins Park on this site. And there is the result. The spaceship known as Marlins Park.
I saw a football game, a Dolphin Oakland Raider game with Ed Lynch back in the 90s after I was with Cleveland or off season, I forget. At the Orange Bowl, and the Raiders, Marino marched him down the field. It was first and goal on the 1, and he threw a 101-yard interception return, and the Raiders, that was Marcus Allen back then, the Raiders blew him away.
Marcell Ozuna leading off the home 5th inning against Zach Wheeler, and a good curveball by Zach, and he's ahead on Ozuna 0-2. So both these pitchers have the good curveball working today, and it has been that kind of game. Mets have had 1 hit, the Marlins 2, no score in the 5th. Echeverria and Mathis to follow Ozuna, who takes up and in. A ball and 2 strikes. So Wheeler, who pitched a gem against the Marlins 12 days ago, has backed it up with another one so far today. Now the question is, can the Mets get him a run? 1-2. Curveball pulled just foul.
Oh boy, that was trouble. Hung it on the inner half of the plate.
And that was a routine chance for the ball boy. He's already turned in his gold glove play today.
Just foul.
Ozuna 1 for 6 in this series. And Wheeler blows him away with a fastball. 5 strikeouts now for Zach. 1 out in the home 5th.
This is the best I've seen him use the corners with his fastball, Gary. He's been in and out with his fastball. Outstanding. Staying off the middle of the plate where anybody's going to get hurt.
He had only 1 strikeout in his 4 troubled innings in Colorado, after striking out 10 against the Marlins 2 starts back. He's got 5 today. Here's Echeverria, who grounded out to short his first trip. And a good slider to start him off. Both his breaking balls working for him today.
He's getting a rhythm. Nice rhythm. 65 pitches.
He had a really easy time first 3 innings, only 31 pitches, then had to struggle through the 4th.
Look at that. Nice little sink down and in. And he's a big kid, too. Met fans, everybody's so tall today. Wheeler's around 6'5", and he's a big kid. He's strong. He's a horse.
Here's the 0-2.
Another
broken bat foul.
Look at that. Fastball in, fastball away in the corner. Just in and out with his fastball. That is just beautiful.
Thursday, it's draft day 2014. What will the Jets do with the 18th pick? Get a complete draft breakdown, exclusive interviews, and reports from Florham Park as the future of the Jets is revealed. Jets Nation Draft Day 2014 coverage begins tomorrow at 6 p.m. only on SNY. You know, Wheeler is fairly tall, but when he stands next to Noah Syndergaard, it looks like a shrimp.
I believe Wheeler is the tallest pitcher on the staff. He makes me feel diminished when I'm next to him.
Well, Scott Rice, I mean, if you're talking about among the starters, for sure. I mean, Cologne is not even 6 feet. He is relatively small for a starter. Nice. Swing and a miss. He ran that ball in on him.
Thank you.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Wheeler. 6 strikeouts on the day.
Look at that. Not a strike. Gets it the run in.
Well, that was a changeup or a two-seam fastball?
I think it was a change. and he's keeping the ball down.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Jeff Mathis, who struck out his first time. And he takes a curveball for a strike. Wheeler working in perfect sync with Anthony Record today, really mixing things up. And sharp with everything he's throwing.
Scotty likes his slider today. Why not? I like it too.
Zach will turn 24 years old later this month. Two and one to Mathis with the pitcher on deck. There's Kohler, who has been just as good as Wheeler today.
He's got a live fastball. It's electric. You can just tell, at least I can. It's coming off a telephone wire. It's just zinging right in there. It's just got life.
A rare time Wheeler's been behind in the count today. 3-1 coming to Mathis. Swings through the fastball, 3-2. Here it is. Try and hit it.
Beat him.
Zach has walked 1. He's struck out 6. 3-2. Fouled away.
Record calls a impressive game. He's very aggressive with his pitch calling. I like what he does.
When you say aggressive, you
he
mean
pounds in, calls fastballs. Got a guy out there throwing 96. Shoot. Don't have to trick anybody. The fastball sets everything else up. When you got a fastball like this.
And he walks Mathis on the slider. Second walk given up by Wheeler. That is an odd pitch selection.
That's all right. He threw 3 fastballs in a row, and he's been getting that slider over. And I said earlier that he likes his slider today. You don't want to walk the guy because you got the pitcher up next. You know,
clear the pitcher spot, and it's the way this game is going. It's not like they were going to pinch hit for the pitcher next inning. So he would have loved to have had him lead off, but Kohler bats here. He grounded out to second base his first time up. Mets return home after the game today, take tomorrow off, and they're back in action at Citi Field Friday night with Henry Mejia opening the series against the Phillies. Phillies have 2 more games to go in their series with Toronto. They played 2 in Philly, and they play tonight and tomorrow in Toronto before they come to New York. Kind of like the Mets-Yankees series next week. 2 in one ballpark and 2 in the other.
Well, the Mets, as far as interleague play, have still got to play Oakland, at Oakland.
Both places.
Seattle, yeah.
Home and road with Oakland.
They got 2 in Oakland, 3 in Seattle.
Right. And they have Houston coming in at the end of the year. And Texas.
Right.
Swing and a miss. 2-2 to Kohler. And Texas is in July 4th weekend. Wheeler has already struck out 2 in the inning. Make it 3 as he gets Kohler to end the bottom of the 5th. 7 strikeouts for Zach Wheeler. No score as we go to the 6th in Miami. with the Pirates and Giants today. Last night they had, a first in Major League Baseball, a walk-off replay reversal. Starling Marte batting in the bottom of the ninth. It's went off the fence in right field beyond the reach of Hunter Pence. And Marte motors all the way to third. And then on the relay throw, it's thrown away. Marte tries to score. Is called out on the tag by Buster Posey. Clint Hurdle challenged, and here's what the replay official saw. The hand hitting the plate before he was tagged on the chest.
So it's a terrible tag.
And so that ended the game. The reversal gave the Pirates the 2-1 win.
Now, did you notice on the roll there, that was Posey, correct? Right. Behind the plate? He was blocking the plate. Now, he had to. What is the rule there?
You have to give the runner a lane. I guess the lane was between his legs, right? But maybe, and I'm only speculating here, there's so much confusion amongst catchers about what they're supposed to do that maybe he thought he needed to vacate and get out of the way.
And it cost a run. I mean, he had every right there to go down on his knees with his shin guard and block the plate.
Once he has the ball, he can do that. But at the same time, Posey has also been told since the injury a couple of years ago, as Tejada lifts one to Stanton and right for the first out, he has been told not to block the plate.
Right. So you've lost a ball game because of that.
Well, for the Giants, there have not been many losses lately. It was only their second in their last 11 games. They're 21-12, half game behind Milwaukee for the best record in the league. But your point is well taken. I mean, it's a game-winning play.
And you know what made that play? There's two plays that made that play. Was that number one, Pence misplayed that ball. He had no chance of catching it. Number two, Marte busted out of the box. You know him hustle all the way. If he didn't hustle, it was just a triple.
It was a pretty good swing by Zach Wheeler. That was a first pitcher's hit of the season kind of a swing. But he fouled it back. Zach grounded out to second his first time up.
Oh, good curve. Both pitchers impressive. I can see why Mr. Kohler has run up some good numbers over his first 6+ starts.
Wheeler tries to hold, but he went around.
Oh.
Now that is only the second strikeout of the day for Tom Kohler. And he is now retired 15 Mets in a row. Well, Kohler threw 7 scoreless against the Dodgers his last time out. He's added 5 2/3 today. Meanwhile, the Mets haven't scored in what feels like an eternity. 19 2/3 innings now since their last run on Monday night. Juan Lagares is fouled out to right and grounded out to short, 0 for 2. And he pokes one the other way, and there's Garrett Jones to grab it. Side retired. 16 in a row retired by Tom Kohler. Zach Wheeler goes back to the mound for the bottom of the 6th. Still no score. goes today. The home run sculpture has been quiet, as have the bats on both sides, as Zach Wheeler and Tom Kohler have matched zeros through the first 5. Now Wheeler will start the third time through the batting order, and has dominant as he's been today. This third time through has been a problem for him and really for the Mets staff as a whole this year. Christian Yelich will lead things off. Yelich is grounded out and struck out today. Wheeler's allowed just 2 hits. He's walked 2, struck out 7. Yelich, Dietrich, and Stanton for the Marlins in the 6th. And a fastball knee-high for a strike. It's particularly been a problem for Wheeler and for Henry Mejia. Look at the numbers. Third time through the batting order and beyond. Ball and a strike to Yelich.
So what does that tell you, Gary? What do you think that says?
Well, I think there are a lot of possibilities. I think you have to wonder about mindset, but there's also a physical piece to it too. You know, is it hitters making adjustments? Is it pitchers running out of gas because they're throwing too hard too early? You know, you don't think about that with Wheeler as much, but Mejia is really a max effort guy. I mean, what do you think? As a hitter, do you have more of an advantage third time through the batting order?
Well, you can get into a. Yes, I'd rather face a pitcher with no hit stuff 4 times than face 4 different pitchers.
And Wheeler issues a leadoff walk. So like clockwork. Well, this is the Mets pitching coach Dan Worthen talking about some of the problems his young pitchers have had in the middle of games.
You know, you have the takeoff, which is the first inning, then you have the landing is the 9th inning, and then the flight is the 5th inning. And these guys know that the 5th inning is a win-lose. You know, if I get to that 5th inning and then all of a sudden there's a relaxation in there, and we've got to eliminate that, or we have to get to it and say, okay, I made it through this thing. But we also have to stay our course, as they like to say, or make our pitches.
Well, I don't think you should be even thinking about 5th inning.
Well, I think sometimes it can be a matter of overthinking, right? Here's Derek Dietrich with a runner aboard, and he takes outside.
Well, if you don't go 5, you're not going to be the pitcher of the record on the W side. That's for sure.
Well, we saw earlier this year, as Worthen's going to take a quick trip out here, we saw it earlier this year with Dylan G that he had a little problem after 90 pitches, often that third time through the order, but he managed to fight his way through it. Right. And now Dylan doesn't seem to be in that mode anymore. But with Mejia and Wheeler, this has been an obstacle.
Well, you're talking in terms of pitches with G. 5th inning is a whole different ball of wax. 5th inning is a pitcher, if he gets 5 and he's ahead, he gets a win.
You know, guys, on that soundbite we played from Dan Worthen, one other thing he pointed out there, he said the one thing that he's noticed about Zach is when you get to the middle portion of the game, and if something does not go his way, and I'll finish after the pitch. Yeah, he said if something doesn't go his way, what he has a tendency to do, he said, and he's young, it's common. He gets a little mad at himself, and then he's frustrated, and then he amps it up, and he tries to overthrow a little bit. So that's something that he watches as well.
We certainly saw that on that last pitch.
Well, this is a good pitch to hit right here.
Behind on Dietrich, 2-0. And now 3-0. So after walking Yelich leading off the inning, now he's 3-0 on Dietrich with Stanton looming on deck. So Wheeler, who had been absolutely dominant through 5, gets to this third time through the order, and I can't help but think that there's a little bit of a mental block there. You know, you see the numbers; it's been happening to you a bunch of times. Otherwise, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Also, too, now see if they put the runner in motion. I believe Mike Redmond will. 3-1. It's also in a game like this, Gary. It's a well-pitched ball game, 0-0, 1-1. It's like, who blinks first? It's always the pitcher. Which one's going to blink first?
What he needs right now is a double play ball. Yelich at first with nobody out. Not going.
Wow.
And ball 4, so back-to-back walks to start the 6th inning, with Stanton striding to the plate. So just like that, everything changed for Zach Wheeler.
And I got to believe, yep, they got some activity down that bullpen. I think it's Torres.
That bullpen should be more rested today. We found out, by the way, this morning that Scott Rice was not available yesterday. He's been battling a bit of a back problem. Not that big a deal against this team, which doesn't have a whole lot of left-hand hitting. Jerry's Familia first man up. Carlos Torres has been battling a lat problem. He was not available last night, but might be available today. Anyway, there's Stanton.
All right, you've got a pitcher out there right now from an offensive point of view who's walked the first 2 batters and has thrown predominantly balls. Hasn't been 3-2 counts. So go up there getting a look for a pitch to hit, a fastball first pitch. Don't let him get ahead.
Stanton walked last time up. This time he swings through that fastball running in on him.
Well, he had the aggressive mode, but he swung at ball 1. That's a big help. 1-0 with the pitcher out there in trouble is a big difference, boy. So critical to have a good eye at the plate.
Wheeler got Stanton to ground into a double play his first time up today. He'd take that. He gets ahead of him quickly, 0-2.
Good pitch there. Good sinker. Might have been a ball.
See what Stanton's done against Wheeler. Stanton 3 for 7 in this series. Casey McGee, who has pummeled the Mets with big hits, is waiting on deck. Wheeler trying to right himself after back-to-back walks to start the inning. 0-2 to Stanton. Just got a piece of that sinker, so he keeps on running that ball inside again, Stanton. That's been the Mets' game plan all year.
You got to crowd Stanton, and you got to pitch him down. He's a belt and up hitter. We've said it the whole series. I mean, he could maybe go away now. You got to pitch to waste.
What you can do also with him is go up out of the strike zone. He'll sometimes chase that.
Yeah.
Plays off the slider 1-2. Stanton has struck out 42 times, which is 3rd in the National League.
He can be pitched too.
But make a mistake and watch it go 500 feet. Wheeler at 95 pitches for the afternoon. 1-2 coming. Broken back grounder. Right gets it to Murphy for 1. The relay in time for the double play. Huge double play for the Mets. Wheeler breaks Stanton's bat, gets him to ground into a twin killing for the 2nd time today.
Well, I tell you what, that is character building right there. He's not out of it yet. But if he gets out of this jam, that's all part of the building of character. And
look at Stanton still holding the spear in his hand, running down to first base. I've never seen that before.
It's a relay. Close.
He's going to pass due to the baton.
Just did get him. Nice stretch by Lucas. Big tough out here.
So now Yelich at 3rd with 2 down. Here's McGee. And Wheeler bounces the slider to start him off. Recker equal to the task, keeping Yelich at 3rd. McGee 5 for 11 in this series, including 3 run-scoring hits. Started the day hitting .441 with runners in scoring position, second to Troy Tulowitzki in the National League. One 1-0 to McGee. And tight 2-0.
That's as close as it gets. But the stretch by Lucas got it done.
I was a little surprised Mike Redmond didn't come out to at least give his video people time to think about a challenge, but he was out. 2-0 to McGee with Garrett Jones on deck. And the curveball misses. 3-0.
I'd be more inclined. Even left-hand hitter in the on-deck circle, and Jones, red hot. McGee hitting in the clutch. I wouldn't want to tangle with him. I'd take my chances with Jones.
Yelich at third and 2 down. Wheeler about to throw his 100th pitch of the afternoon. Letter high strike, 3-1. By the way, Giancarlo Stanton before today had grounded into only one double play all year. Wheeler's gotten him twice. Still can't believe he carried that spear all the way to first base.
Well, it's more like a dagger.
Dagger, that's well put. A dirk.
You took the words out of my mouth, Shakespeare.
3-1. Curveball, and that's ball 4. McGee's on with a walk. So the third walk of the inning and the 5th of the day for Zach Wheeler. And now Garrett Jones will come up. Familia's been throwing in the bullpen. Again, Scott Rice probably not available today, and that certainly affects your strategy against Jones, the only formidable left-handed bat in the lineup. Jones has been up twice today. Both times hit the ball to center field. One of those 2 times he hit it very hard. So Wheeler, who's faced 4 batters in the inning and walked 3 of them, now an out away from getting through the jam.
Big shift for Jones. Murph out in right field, shallow right field. Tejada on the other side of second base. But the outfield is more opposite field. See a lot of that in today's game.
First and third and 2 down. And Jones swings and foul tips the fastball. 0-1.
I like it. Went right after him, number 1. Right after him. Plenty of plate under it.
Ball bled out a little more than Zach intended. Seen this a lot with Wheeler, throwing 4 seamers early in the game and 2 seamers later in the game.
Oh, nice try.
1-1.
He's just right at the ship for some reason. He just kind of lost it the first 2 batters. Maybe a little nerves here in a nothing game, but boy, did he get the big double play off the big bat in the lineup.
Still work to do here. 1-1 to Garrett Jones with Marcell Ozuna on deck. And Jones hammers it down to first. Easy play for Duda, and Wheeler extricates himself from a big-time jam in the 6th inning. 3 walks in the inning, but he survives thanks to the double play from Stanton as he gets Jones to keep it a scoreless game.
outstanding.
Now a scoreless game as we start the 7th, and Daniel Murphy attacks on Tom Koehler, who has been spectacular today. Kohler's retired 16 in a row since David Wright's double in the first inning, the only base runner for the Mets all day. Koehler has struck out only 2, but no walks and only 1 base runner. 1-1 to Murphy with Wright and Granderson to follow. The Mets have now gone 20 straight innings without scoring a run. The last 6 against this New Rochelle product, who had his worst start of the year against the Mets 10 days ago. He has turned that around today. 2 balls and a strike to Murphy.
Well, who's going to blink here in this 0-0 game? We're in the 7th.
Now Wheeler finished that last half inning with 104 pitches. Nobody's up in the bullpen, and it didn't look like he got handshakes, so he may be continuing on. That one catches the corner. 2-2 to Murphy.
Thought it was outside. So did Daniel.
Adam Hamari, young home plate umpire, called it a strike.
He sets up way inside, doesn't Hamari?
Look at the pitch count on Kohler. 68 pitches working in the 7th inning. Murphy pops one up in foul ground, and should be room over there for McGee. The fan got out of the way just in time. 1 out and nobody on. Here are your city probables for the series with the Phillies starting Friday night. Henry Mejia looks to bounce back against Roberto Hernandez Friday night. Dylan G and Kyle Kendrick on Saturday night. John Neese has been spectacular against the very much struggling Cole Hamels Sunday afternoon.
That's a rematch, is it not?
It is, of their rainy game in Philly, but Hamels got beat up again last night by the Blue Jays, and things are not going well for Cole right now. Here's David Wright, who has the only safety for the Mets today, a double to right center. And David takes ball 1. See how they cut down the gap in right center there?
They sure have. They've given David the right field line. I don't agree with this because David can pop that right field line.
And they give him a lot of room in left center as well.
This is serious cutting the gap off right here, right center field. Wow.
Curtis Granderson on deck.
You know, you play these extreme defenses, and this is extreme. I mean, it just in a 0-0 game where 1 extra base hit might do you in. I wouldn't be so radical.
Kohler's ahead on right, 1-2. And David goes down swinging on the breaking ball. Just the 3rd strikeout of the day for Kohler, who's now set down 18 Mets in a row.
Breaking ball. David went fishing.
This is a spotless effort by Tom Koehler, who is due up 4th when the Marlins come up in the bottom of the 7th. But he doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Here's Granderson, who's 0 for 2. Fine play by Dietrich to rob him of a hit his last time up.
I'd be playing Curtis a little more pull in right field. Stanton is kind of got him gapped. I mean, Curtis pulls.
Below the knees, and Kohler behind for a rare time today, 2-0. Kohler had a couple of 3-ball counts in the first inning and only 1 since. It was against Chris Young in the 5th, and now he has another. 3-0 to Granderson. You got to think about swinging here, don't you?
I would give him a green light, and as a pitcher, you got to keep it away.
He takes it, and that's the first walk given up by Kohler today. So after retiring 18 in a row, Kohler issues a 2-out walk to Granderson, and that gets Chris Young to the plate with a man on.
I think if Curtis gets a jump, he should try to steal. You know, nothing ball game, tie ball game.
Today at 5 p.m., Jonas Schwartz and Joe Beningo will break down tonight's Rangers-Penguins Game 4 matchup at the Garden. Plus, get you ready for the NFL Draft with up-to-the-minute news and opinion on Daily News Live, presented by Citi, today at 5, only on SNY. Jay Arrieta just standing around and watching for the moment.
Well, he's had plenty of time. He's already loose. He's good to go.
It would appear, though, that Wheeler is going to be starting the next half inning. We'll see, though. Young came the closest to getting the Mets on the board when he hit one of the fence in left field that Yelich caught back in the second. Since then, he's grounded out to short, 0 for 2 on the day.
Well, I think Terry Collins is of the mind to start stretching out his starters a little bit over that 100 pitch count. I think he wants to push them a little bit further.
Well, remember, he sent Dylan G out for his 7th inning at 105 pitches, and it looks like he's about to do exactly the same with Wheeler.
I agree with Terry.
Well, especially with all the struggles the Mets have had in their bullpen, the more they can shorten the number of outs required from that bullpen, the better. Granderson has 2 steals this year. The curveball pulled foul.
Oh, that was a hanger. Too quick. Just too quick. It's on a tee right here. Oh, Lordy. Just a little quick.
One to Young, and a chopper for Echeverria, and that retires the side. So Kohler's 18 in a row is snapped. The Mets' 21 innings without a run is not. To figure out whether it's a dog or a cat. Oh, it's a lot easier this time. It's neither. It's from John. Thanks, John. Got the whole group together for this one. Well, Zach Wheeler is not going to be pushed into the 7th inning. Instead, Jay Arrieta will come on to pitch for the Mets.
Well, maybe what was taken into consideration, Gary, was the fact that he had to really work hard in that 6th with the 2 leadoff walks. Familia, of course, his last time out was in Colorado, and that was the last game of the series. Went 2 innings.
Sunday, yeah.
Yep, and gave up the home run to Morneau, the solo shot.
Well, you saw from his splits, Familia's been extremely tough against right-hand hitters, and he'll face 3 of them here in the 7th inning. Ozuna, Echeverria, and Mathis. And then the pitcher spot due up 4th in the inning. They have 1 left-handed bat on the bench, and that's Jared Saltalamacchia, who's getting the day off, the switch hitter. Ozuna's been up twice, struck out both times. So Wheeler done after 6 scoreless innings. And what a contrast. The first 3 innings Wheeler threw, he threw 31 pitches. His last 3 innings, 73 pitches.
Well, the walks, 5 walks. He only gave up 2 hits. So if he can cut down the walks, he'd be cruising right along.
104 pitches for Wheeler, 5 walks, 7 strikeouts, no runs, 2 hits.
You know, by contrast, you've got his counterpart, Tom Kohler, with only 1 walk and 1 hit. So he's got the low pitch count.
80 pitches.
Yep,
right?
it adds up.
Yep. Echeverria on deck. No score in the bottom of the 7th. So Wheeler lowers his ERA from 5.13 to 4.35 with those 6 scoreless innings. And certainly a nice bounce back for Zach after a lost start in Colorado.
And Terry Collins moving Familia up the food chain in that bullpen, Gary, and trusting him in a ball game the Mets need. 7th inning, tied.
Well, there's no question, and Terry says it often, Familia's got the best stuff in that bullpen. The question is, will he throw enough strikes? 1-2, and he bounces one past record, 2-2. There are changes afoot, no question about it. So much conversation about the young starters down in AAA and when they might be moved to the bullpen down there, brought up here and moved to the bullpen. This bullpen has been so mercurial. Started out horribly, had a nice stretch, but it's been hard for them to maintain any kind of consistency, particularly with the uncertainty in the closer spot. Everything flows from there. Swing and a miss. He got him with a breaking ball. 3rd time Ozuna struck out today as Familia gets him.
Got him with a hanger, Gary. Look at this, right down the middle. How do you miss that? It happens. But it broke down. You see, that's the difference.
Little late life.
A little late down break. That is the big difference right there.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Echeverria, who's grounded to short and struck out 0 for 2. Now thinks about a bunt. Wright was playing even with the bag at 3rd.
They've got Familia to develop a little bit of a sinker to the right-handers. That's got to be Dan Warthen. Zach Wheeler has developed that also.
Fly ball to right. Granderson over toward the line. 2 out. So Familia has set down the first 2, and the catcher Jeff Mathis coming up. Let's answer the Verizon trivia question. We asked which Marlin has appeared in the most All-Star games. Mike Lowell would be my guess.
Oh,
Miguel Cabrera.
Wow.
It's only 4. That's a low number. Of course, Cabrera is still appearing in All-Star games, just in Tiger stripes.
Yep, you got that right.
He got off to a slow start this year, and he's just starting to come around. Had a big game last night, Cabrera. 4 for 5, 4 RBIs, home run.
He'll start wearing it out.
Yep. But, I mean, even without him at his best, the Tigers are 19-9. They have the best record in baseball. They've won 7 straight.
Well, Cleveland's not having the year they had last year.
Well, everybody else in that division is 500 or below. Mathis has struck out and walked 0 for 1. Kohler is out on deck. And why not? Familia falls behind 2-0. I mean, if you're Mike Redmond, you're going to ride Kohler as long as you can in this game. He has been pitching wonderfully. He's allowed just 1 hit.
But his Redmond's bullpen is fresh too.
They got the complete game last night from Henderson Alvarez.
Well, there's no question that Familia throws hard. This is right down the middle and beats Mathis there.
2-1 from Familia.
Good.
And he catches the corner with the fastball. 2-2.
Nice. Outside corner knees. That'll work.
To Mathis. Struck him out. Got him with a breaking ball. 1-2-3 inning for Familia with a couple of strikeouts. That sends us on to the 8th. No score in Miami. But they have already won 2 World Series, both the unexpected variety in '97 under Jim Leyland and in 2003 under Jack McKeon. Leyland was only here for 2 years, won a World Series, and then they dismantled the team and they lost well over 100 games.
That was Wayne Huizenga, was the owner then.
Jack McKeon took over after the season started in 2003 from Jeff Torborg and won the World Series that year. The Marlins have never won a division title, but they've won 2 World Series. Meanwhile, Tom Kohler working on a gem this afternoon. He's allowed just 1 hit and 1 walk over the first 7 innings. There's Trader Jack, who was brought back for a second stint with the Marlins back in 2011.
Of course, they whipped the Yankees in that World Series.
Josh Beckett pitching the shutout in Game 6. McKeon pitched him on 3 days rest. Everybody told him not to. He said, I know what I'm doing. He did.
Yes, he did. He's fearless.
Lucas Duda leads off for the Mets in the 8th inning against Kohler and takes a curveball for a strike. Lucas has been up twice and grounded out to second base both times. Lucas just 1 for 8 in this series. Mets have had only 1 hit all afternoon. Pulled down to first. It skips by Jones and into right field. Duda around first as Stanton gets to it, and he'll hold right there as Stanton unleashes a throw to second as he hits the deck. So Jones unequal to the task of flagging down that hard hit grounder.
Bullet not a chance to get in front. Guarding the line.
They'll give Duda credit for a hit, just the Mets' second of the day. And the Mets have the leadoff man on for the first time all afternoon.
And we'll see if Terry Collins does any pinch hitting for Tejada.
Well, first, will you bunt with Wrecker, who's got a chance to hit the ball out of the ballpark?
I'd let Anthony hit. He's been every time he's played, he's been in the middle of things. He's gotten big hits.
He's hit 9 home runs in his Mets career. 7 of the 9 have either tied the game or put the Mets in front. 2 of those home runs have come this year. Tejada out on deck. Terry batted for him in the late innings yesterday with the Mets behind. Mike Dunn, the left-hander, A.J. Ramos, the right-hander. Now Recker on the second pitch does bunt, and Kohler's going to have to go to first with it. So Recker sacrifices 1-3, moving Duda to second, and Tejada is going to be called back, and Bobby Abreu is going to pinch hit for him. So for the second straight day, Tejada is pulled for a pinch hitter, as the Mets get a runner to second base for just the second time today.
Do you pitch to Abreu?
Well, the Mets have Josh Satin coming out on deck to bat for the pitcher behind Abreu.
If you pitch to him, you pitch very carefully.
Abreu grounded out as a pinch hitter yesterday. Good to see Carlos Torres back and available today. Was out for a couple of days because of a strained lat muscle. So Terry Collins going to his bench, looking to get on the board here in the 8th. A leadoff hit by Duda, a sacrifice by Recker. Now Abreu bats for Tejada. Abreu 3 for 16 as a Met. We have a lot of room on the left side of the infield for Bobby. He certainly can go that way. And the curveball from Kohler in for a strike.
Well, you got a very hot pitcher out there with great stuff. You pitch to Abreu, pitch carefully. There's Lagares waiting his turn, hoping to hit in this inning.
Echeverria keeping an eye on Duda so he can't get a very big secondary lead. And the curveball from Kohler, and Abreu able to stop the swing. 1-1. Scoring chances have been few and far between for the Mets in this series. They got a couple of first-inning home runs on Monday, then Abreu sacrifice fly in the 4th inning in that game, and they haven't scored since. 21 straight innings without a run. Trying to break that up here in the 8th. And Abreu takes a borderline strike. 1-2.
It was a strike. Nothing but breaking stuff. That's knee high. It's too close to take. It could have gone either way. That's a strike. But Bobby didn't think so.
Bobby looking at the young home plate umpire Adam Hamari, a little smile on his face. Kohler's had little trouble to deal with today. One, 2.
Nice.
Bounced that change up 2-2.
Well, this is a curve, Garrett, in the dirt, and that is pitcher perfect. When you're in a game like this and you're a position player, you're on point. One mistake can lose the ball game. You are on your toes.
Two and 2 to Abreu, and he lays off. Full count.
All breaking balls.
It has only seemed as though every at bat of Bobby Abreu's career has resulted in a full count.
Well, he's just such a disciplined hitter. Good knowledge of the strike zone.
First base open, so we'll see how Kohler pitches him here. He's thrown him all breaking stuff so far. 3-2. Another curveball, and he struck him out, and Abreu unhappy with himself. That's the second out of the inning.
And a wicked breaking ball. Not a strike. Started out on the inside corner. Bobby knew he couldn't hold up. Young man's impressive. And this is a swing.
So Abreu unable to get the job done as a pinch hitter. Now Josh Satin will try his hand. The at-bats have been few and far between for Josh this year. He's 0 for 6 as a pinch hitter, 3 for 22 overall. The tie-breaking run at second with 2 down. Each team has had only 2 hits all afternoon.
I wonder why Terry didn't use Quintanilla here. He's going to come in the game to play shortstop. He's a left-hand hitter. He's a line drive hitter. He's a kind of guy that might get you a base hit, and then you're not using 2 players. I'm a bit surprised.
The only thing I can say is I think Terry's just trying to get Satin some at-bats because he's played so little, and he'd like to get him going. That's about the only way I can look at it. And also, you know how patient Satin can be. If Kohler doesn't want to throw him a strike, and you get Lagares to the plate. One and one to Satin, and he takes a fastball strike.
Got him looking for the old breaker. Certainly was looking for a breaking ball there. Not recommended.
Now the 1-2. Lays off the breaking ball. 2-2. A leadoff hit by Duda. Sacrifice bunt by Recker. Kohler able to strike out Abreu on a 3-2 pitch. Now Satin trying to get that icebreaker home. Two. Struck him out.
Wow.
Kohler with a slider. Fans Satin back-to-back strikeouts to get himself through 8th inning trouble. Brilliant performance by Kohler. Still a scoreless game in Miami. Omar Quintanilla will play shortstop and bat 8th, and Carlos Torres, who hasn't pitched since Sunday, will come on for the 8th.
Well, Torres has been steady. Got hit a little bit up in that second inning of relief in Denver, but he's been solid. And boy, what a performance by the young man right there, Mr. Kohler.
Well, he's going to come out. Marlins will try and get him a run in the bottom of the 8th. Reed Johnson will bat for him. Kohler going 8, allowing no runs and 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, including the last 2 men he faced. And now Torres pitching to Johnson, who swings and misses at the cutter, 0-1. Johnson started the first game of the series. As you look at Steve Cishek, the Marlins closer, up in the bullpen. Johnson went 1 for 3, started against John Neese on Monday night. Well, Kohler's last 2 starts against the Dodgers and the Mets, now 15 scoreless innings. After the Mets gave him his only bad start 10 days ago. And Torres quickly ahead on Johnson, 0-2. Christian Yelich on deck. Derek Dietrich behind him. If anybody gets on, Giancarlo Stanton. Torres had a little bit of a lat strain that kept him out the last couple of days. Nothing serious, but enough to give him a couple of days off, which has been a rarity this year. He's been so heavily used. And other than that one game in Colorado, he has been great.
Well, opening day he had a tough time, remember? And
well, everybody did.
Yeah.
Well, this has been quite a pitcher's duel. I hesitate to say an old-fashioned pitcher's duel, because in an old-fashioned pitcher's duel, the starters would still be in the game.
Correct.
Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball popped up, shallow left center. Lagares calling all the way. 1 out. So now Christian Yelich will come up for the 4th time. Yelich 0 for 2 and a walk today. Zach Wheeler cruised through the first 5 innings, but then in the 6th he walked Yelich and Dietrich to start the inning, put himself in harm's way against Stanton, and that's when Wheeler did his best pitching of the day. Got Stanton to break his bat, grounded to a 5-4-3 double play. He pitched around Casey McGee, got Garrett Jones to ground out. That ended Wheeler's day, but it was a great way to go out. Not so much that he put himself in trouble, but the way he fought his way out of it. Yelich grounds one foul.
Torres has really got good stuff today. Good, hard, tight breaking balls.
Here's the 0-2. Little chopper. Murphy had him played perfectly. And throws out Yelich by a stride, 2 out. So Torres has set down the first 2 in the 8th. Now he'll take on Derek Dietrich, who's 1 for 2 and a walk. With Stanton standing on deck.
The big guy.
Last time Torres went out was Sunday. Remember, Dylan G went out to start the 7th, gave up a couple of hits, and Torres came in, got 2 huge outs before Scott Rice came in to finish off that inning and give G a scoreless slate for that day. Ball and a strike to Dietrich. Jerry is familiar with a nice performance. Got the side 1-2-3 in the 7th with a couple of strikeouts. If he continues to throw strikes, his role is going to increase day by day.
Mm.
1-2 to Dietrich.
Torres is wicked today.
He's got that natural cutter, just eats up left-hand hitters. He's ahead 1-2 on Dietrich. Off the corner, 2-2. The Mets, no runs, 2 hits. The Marlins, no runs, 2 hits. We're in the bottom of the 8th. And Kohler's last chance for a win rests with Derek Dietrich at the plate. 2-2. Breaking ball struck him out. What an inning for Carlos Torres. He sets the Marlins down 1-2-3. And we go to the 9th. Mets at the top of the order coming up.
In Miami, they need a little offense. They haven't had it at all against this talented young Miami staff. And Juan Lagares leads it off in the 9th inning. Luis Natera is the Mets assistant hitting coach. He's had Lagares since 2011 when he got to Double-A. He had him for a year and a half at that level. And I asked him how he's gotten better. He said there's been a couple reasons. Number one, he used to have a huge leg kick that we kind of got rid of. And I didn't do it initially, but I saw that once he jumped levels from Single-A to Double-A, he was late constantly. So finally we did away with that. I feel like his legs now and his lower body so much better than it was earlier. And I said, what about him with power? Certainly he's got doubles power. He's hitting with more authority now. How about power overall? He said, I think that will come because here's why. Right now he's getting more comfortable and he's hitting by reaction. He doesn't look for certain pitches and certain counts to do damage. When that comes, he's a strong man. The power will increase. Gary.
Steve Cishek, the Marlins closer, comes in to pitch the 9th inning to face Lagares. Cishek's second appearance of the series. As in the case of the first one, he came into a tie game on Monday and wound up getting the win. And he gets ahead on Lagares 0-2. Juan is 0 for 3 today, lined out to the first baseman his last time up. So Kohler is out after 8 innings. He held the Mets completely at bay. Kyle Farnsworth up in the Mets bullpen, hoping for a save opportunity to work with in the bottom of the 9th. Lagares lays off the slider from Cishek, 1-2. Mets have had more success against Cishek than any other team. His career earned run average against the Mets is 5.76, which is his highest against any opponent. Mets broke his save streak at 33 earlier this year. Lagares pops one foul. It'll be Lagares, then Murphy and right for the Mets in the 9th. Mets have gone 22 consecutive innings now without a run. 1-2 from Cishek. Lagares pokes one toward the right field line. Foul. Your Honda drive around the majors. Yasiel Puig, who crashed the fence here in Miami on Sunday, returns for the Dodgers today. Paul Goldschmidt homering for the second straight day as the Diamondbacks lead Milwaukee 2-1 in the 7th. And Tim Lincecum started for the Giants. Didn't go well. Pirates are up 4-3. That game is now in the 8th.
Lincecum, it's amazing. 2 Cy Youngs back-to-back, and he's just not the same pitcher.
He's had his moments this year, but certainly not the consistency. 1-2 to Lagares. Breaking ball popped up. Shallow left. Yelich in. 1 out.
Well, we're talking the less leg kick you see right there. They worked on, got him out in front. Cishek's tough on right-handers. He's a submariner. Got him out in front.
It's been a weird year this year for Cishek in that his numbers are much better against lefties, but that can't be sustainable.
Agreed.
Here's Murphy, who's 0 for 3. And he drives one to center field, but right at Ozuna, who makes the grab. A bullet off the bat of Murphy, but Ozuna was in just the right spot. 2 out. So here's David Wright, who has one of the 2 hits for the Mets today. Drove the gap in right center for a double in the first inning. Since then, he's fouled out and struck out. David is 3 for 10 in his career against Cishek. And again, the Marlins are going to try and cut down the gap in right center against him, which they did his last at bat.
I'd be inclined to play a little bit deeper too. Stanton's awful shallow. Don't want to give up an extra base hit here.
Check out SNY.TV for an in-depth Jets and Giants NFL draft preview with up-to-the-minute news, predictions, and interviews at the JetsBlog.com and BigBlueBlitz.com, all part of the SNY.TV blog network. Ball and a strike to right.
He's kind of rushing it up there on David. He knows that's the big out here. He needs this last out.
1-1 coming. David bounces it foul. 1-2. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, the Marlins will have 3, 4, and 5 in their orders. Stanton, McGee, and Jones. This has been a hard ballpark for the Mets. It's only in its 3rd season, and the Mets have already suffered 6 walk-off losses here at Marlins Park. One-two from Cishek. Fastball, strike 3 call. Right is caught looking, and left shaking his head. Cishek has a 1-2-3 inning. Marlins come up in the bottom of the 9th with the heart of their order. Stanton to lead off. Last of the ninth inning in a scoreless game. The Marlins trying for a sweep of this 3-game series. Giancarlo Stanton leads off against Carlos Torres, who pitched a 1-2-3/8. Stanton 0 for 2. He's grounded into 2 double plays today, wrapped around a walk. And a first pitch curveball from Torres in for a strike.
Torres got a very sharp breaking ball there. Took a little off that one.
McGee and Jones to follow for the Marlins in the ninth. This is a Miami team that's averaged nearly 6 runs per game at home this year. Being held in check today. Wheeler for 6, Familia for 1, Torres for 1. They've had only 2 hits, as have the Mets. And Stanton lays off the cutter, 2-1. Torres has had Stanton's number to this point. McGee, who's had all the big hits in this series, is on deck. And now it's 3-1 to Stanton.
Well, Stanton, there was an article in the paper 2 days ago that he feels he's made a big strides, not swinging that many bad pitches before. He used to fish for those breaking balls. He's really improved as a hitter.
3-1. Takes a strike. Full count.
Good one. That's a good one to spit on right there with 3-1 count. That's a pitcher's pitch right here.
Three-two coming, and Stanton hits a drive through the hole, base hit. And the Marlins have the potential winning run aboard in the ninth inning. Only the 3rd hit of the day for Miami.
Look at this little front door slider. He's so quick, and look where the level of the ball is. Belt high. Got to get it down with him. That's a nice swing. That's an impressive at bat from the big power hitter. Beautiful.
So Stanton aboard to start the bottom of the ninth, and now here's McGee. 1 for 2 today. 5 for 11 in the series with 3 RBIs.
There's the defense there. Double play depth. Straight up. Deep in the outfield, in contrast to how shallow the Marlins play their outfield.
And now Torres wants a conversation with Recchi. You can't go to sleep on Stanton at first base either.
I would think that they would keep Stanton there with the red hot McGee. Don't give him a shot to steal. No, I would wait. Get Jones in the on-deck circle. I would wait till if it got to Ozuna, then if it's 2 outs, give him a chance to steal. I'd hold him right here. Big outfield, base hit could be easy first to third with Stanton's speed.
And McGee takes the cutter away for ball 1. McGee 0 for 2 against Torres. The outfield deep, playing no doubles in this spot. Double could win the game. And now Torres behind on McGee, 2-0.
I always liked in a tight game like this to look away, Gary. Out fastball away. Pitcher's afraid to come in. And in this situation, it sets up a 1st and 3rd.
And McGee takes it wide. Now it's 3-0. Torres had a brilliant 8th inning. But gave up a base hit to Stanton. Now he's 3-0 to McGee with the left-hand hitter Garrett Jones on deck. And remember, Scott Rice not available today in all probability, which limits Terry Collins' options. 3-0 coming. There's a strike.
I think you let Stanton loose here. Let him run. McGee is the hitter. Is not going to swing at a bad pitch. It's ball 4. Stay out of the 2. Nope. And luckily,
So Torres battles back to 3-2.
had a lot of play. It might have been ball 4. Now this is when McGee starts going up the middle with 2 strikes. It's been a tough 2-strike hitter this series.
Three and 2 with nobody out. And Torres checking in on Stanton, who almost took a false step. He's running, and McGee draws the walk, and now the winning run's at second base. So a hit for Stanton, a walk to McGee, who's on base for the 3rd time today. And life becomes that much more troubled for Carlos Torres. Dan Warthen's going to head out to the mound. You got Garrett Jones coming up. Certainly do not expect him to be bunting.
Double play guy, too.
So they'll discuss all that. Garrett is 1 for 2 in his career against Carlos Torres. About here with a chance to win it. If you're thinking bunt, Garrett Jones does not have a sacrifice bunt in his career.
He's swinging. He's hitting in the 5th spot. He's swinging the bat. You just got to hope as a manager he stays out of 2.
Coming up tonight, that goes Sports Night at 10:30 with Chris Carlin. And Chris reminds everyone that the secret ingredient in his 7-layer draft tip is love. That's so sweet. Thanks, Chris. Game on the line, bottom of the 9th. No score. Garrett Jones bats with 1st and 2nd and nobody out. David Wright comes in on the grass at 3rd just in case they're thinking about sacrificing. The other 3 infielders move to the right. Stanton the winning run at 2nd, and Jones set to swing. Ooh. Takes it low for ball 1.
Boy, there's the defense. Remember, they played pretty much a lot more pull on Jones, but they can't do it with a double play in order. Now they're going to move Kenya right up the middle to the right side of second base now.
1-0 to Garrett Jones. He fouls one into the ground. 1-1.
Swings at ball 2.
A tough series for Jones. He's gone 0 for 7. Marcelo Ozuna waiting on deck. Val Farnsworth has been busy in the Mets bullpen. As Torres in his 2nd inning of work finds trouble. One coming to Jones. And he drives one deep to right. Granderson hasn't measured those. Tagging at 2nd is Stanton. He'll go over to 3rd after the catch. And now the Marlins have the winning run at 3rd with 1 out.
Well, he did his job there. He advanced the runner. So we'll see what the Mets do here. They're going to load the bases. I would with Ozuna. I'd load him up, bring the outfield in.
Well, they're going to make a pitching change first. You see Granderson making that catch at the edge of the warning track. Terry Collins on his way to the mound. He's going to bring in the strikeout pitcher Farnsworth to face Ozuna, trying to find a way out of this jam. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. We'll be right back to Miami. try and hold the Marlins at bay.
Well, Farnsworth in another spot. Terry Collins asking him to pull a rabbit out of his hat. He was terrific in the first game of the series. Came in and bailed out Matsuzaka.
Stanton is the winning run. He's at third. McGee is at first with one out. Let's see what the Mets do here. You've got Ozuna coming up. Echeverria on deck. You could walk the bases loaded or just go after Ozuna here.
Pitch around him. See if he chases. Both are free swingers. Ozuna is clearly the better hitter than Echeverria.
And I think Record just put up 4 fingers. No,
nope.
He did not.
Okay.
Just signaling to the infield. So they're going to play the middle infielders halfway, but you got to come home on anything that you can't turn a double play on. Otherwise, the game's over. The outfield playing deeper than they should. You should only play as deep as you can throw, and Chris Young is way too deep in left. Fly ball wins the game. Ozuna the batter, first and third, one out. I mean, why are they not moving Chris Young in and left? He can't throw from that far.
I don't understand why they're not in.
I mean, Granderson and Young do not have strong arms. You play very shallow to take away the bloop because anything over your head is the ball game anyway.
It's going to win the ball game anyways. Correct. You got a guy that's fast at third base.
And now Young's coming in 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. They must have gotten his attention from the dugout. Ozuna swings and misses at the slider, and it's 1-1. Man, that's attention to detail there. That's a huge play. I mean, if Ozuna bloops one behind shortstop, you might make a catch instead of the game being over.
Well, with less than 2 outs, outfield comes in the bottom of the ninth.
Somebody missed the sign.
Well,
they're still playing too deep with Young. 1-1 to Ozuna with Stanton at third, carrying the winning run. And Farnsworth runs it inside, 2-1.
This is a huge pitch right here. 2 sliders, 1-1, and then you try to come inside and missed. Doesn't want to go 3-1. I say slider away. Let's see. No. He wants fastball away.
Slider hit to right center. Over comes Lagares. Back to tag Stanton. He is going to try to score. The throw by Lagares, and Recker can't catch it. The Marlins win. The Marlins beat the Mets in walk-off fashion yet again. Marcell Ozuna with a sacrifice fly. Lagares is throwing a little bit up the line. Recker couldn't handle it cleanly, and Stanton slides in with a winning run. Miami wins it 1-0 to sweep the 3-game series.
Well, the ball hit to the right outfielder with the best arm. A little off the end. A little off. He had to throw across his body, kind of rolled in there, and he might have been out if he makes. Now watch Stanton with a big mistake here. What's he doing? He's got a tag. He's late getting back. That's why this play was so close.
If Recker comes up with it cleanly, he's got a chance. But he had a long way to go for it and then stretch back.
That was just very fortunate for Stanton. He almost cost the game there. Well, not the game, but extra innings.
Well, certainly not Lagares' best throw, having to cut to his glove side, turn back and throw across his body. Threw it on a couple of hops. The ball stayed down. Recker couldn't get it, and Stanton slides in with the game's only run, and the Marlins win another walk-off against the Mets. Jose Fernandez carrying the celebratory water over the railing. And the celebration on for the Marlins. A bad road trip comes to a close for the Mets. They won their first game in Philadelphia, but then lost 6 of the next 7. And the Marlins complete the sweep on Ozuna's sacrifice fly. A great pitcher's duel this afternoon here in Miami that ends on a slide at the plate by Stanton with the game's only run. Zach Wheeler did all he could today with 6 scoreless.
Tom Kohler even better with 8 scoreless, but the game ends up in the hands of the bullpens. And Carlos Torres, in his second inning of work, gives up a hit and a walk and a couple of fly balls, and that's enough to beat the Mets on this day, as the Mets have now not scored 23 consecutive innings as they get shut out in back-to-back games. Coming up after we're done here, it's WB Mason Postgame Live. Gary Apple and Bobby Ojeda will be along to break this one down, bring you all the scores and highlights as well. Marlins win this one 1-0 to sweep the series. We'll come back with more from Miami in just a moment.